This conference will now be recorded.
Aishwarya, you can start.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, let me share my
Start.
screen.
Join middle. Okay.
Sorry?
Kartikeya will join in 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay, should I start then or should I just wait for 1 minute?
You can start.
Okay. You are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
So how to move this one? I'm just okay. Yeah. So today's agenda is we are going to cover what are the different types of integration, and so there are two types, and how to use when to use this type of integration and when to use this type of integration, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of these types, and how to avoid the disadvantages. And next we are going to cover Mule ESB features. So what are the features? Yesterday I have given some overview, right? So what are the main features of Mule ESB? Why we are using Mule ESB, and how we can utilize Mule ESB to do these three things. So like what are the main features and how to utilize them for development. And then I'll be showing MuleSoft. So where we are going to do development. So there are two types. So where we are going to do the development, how we are going to deploy. So I will be giving an overview on how the Anypoint Studio looks and how to install. So I will be explaining those things. So let's start with the different types of integrations. So there are basically two types of integrations: point-to-point integrations and ESB API integrations. First, let's go to point-to-point integrations. Let's say, so what is the main meaning of point-to-point? So it is self-explanatory. So one point to another point. So let's say there is a system A here, and let's say there is system B here. What is a point-to-point integration is? System A will give some data. It has to be integrated to system B. So yesterday I have mentioned, right? So let's say database or sales, anything it might be. So let's say some realistic example, like let's say the system A is some diagnostic center. Okay. And this one is some hospital. What it will ask is, hospital will ask is, I want data from this diagnostic A. So what we are doing, we are getting the data from diagnostic A. We are building an integration in MuleSoft. Here in the middle layer, we'll be having MuleSoft. We are getting the data from diagnostic A. We are getting into MuleSoft. We are sending it to hospital. And in future, what it will say, this hospital will say is, I want some details from diagnostic B as well. So what you are going to do, you have to build one more integration which takes data from diagnostic B. Then again, you have to build some integration, MuleSoft integration, and then you'll give it to the same hospital. So this is point-to-point integration. So what are the advantages here and what are the disadvantages here? So let's come to advantages first. It is very simple and easy to build. So whenever there are only few points to integrate, let's say straightforward, system A to system B, some diagnostic A to hospital. So when there are only simple and small and no complex integrations, then we can use point-to-point integration. So these are very easy to develop. Only small steps: get the data, transform and manipulate the data, send the data. So what are the disadvantages here? Suppose let's say let's just forget this one. Okay, diagnostic B. Let's just forget this one. So from this diagnostic A, we are getting data and giving it to hospital. Let's say this is hospital A, and now this hospital B. What it requires is, I also want this data, and I will say I also want the data from diagnostic A. So what we have to do, we have to build again one more integration from diagnostic A to MuleSoft to hospital B. Let's say you are getting like this 4-5 systems here: hospital B, hospital C, hospital D. So you have 5 hospitals, and for that you are getting the same data, but you are doing 5 different MuleSoft integrations. So what is the point here? So you are getting the same data, so our source data. So basically in integrations, what we have to talk in technology term is source and target. So here our source is same. So the data which we are getting from diagnostic A is same. But here what we are doing, even though the data is same, we have to build multiple MuleSoft integrations. So here there is one MuleSoft integration. So here there is one more MuleSoft integration. So what is the point of doing like this? So this is where our API comes. API approach. So this is hospital B, something like this. What are the disadvantages here using point-to-point integrations? If at all there are more systems coming in future, you have to keep on adding the MuleSoft integrations. You have to keep on developing the same integrations. And let's say suppose there is a change in diagnostic case. Suppose the patient's information suffering from this some X disease, you are trying to get the data. So if at all there is some change in this data, you have to do the changes in all of these integrations. Even though there is a single change in this integration, since there is a change here, you have to modify the current existing integrations in MuleSoft for all of this one. So this is a tedious process when it comes, whenever there are multiple source systems and multiple target systems. Let's say, suppose this is a very simple example, system A, system B. Let's assume here there is system C and there is system D. So if at all we say here we have diagnostic F. So from diagnostic F, you are giving the data to hospital A, hospital C. So there will be multiple connections, multiple MuleSoft integrations, even though the data is same. So how to resolve this issue is we have one more integration type. So for this only, we have MuleESB. So what MuleESB does is it will give the API, it will give us a way to develop the integrations in an API form. So here what will happen is, so this is for point-to-point integration. So here in our MuleESB, what it will do is, it will have a diagnostic A. So here we have system A, that is diagnostic A. And here we have hospital A, hospital B, hospital C. So like that we have multiple. So instead of creation of multiple integrations, multiple MuleSoft integrations, we will build only one MuleSoft integration using ESB. And we will expose this integration as an API. So here, instead of point-to-point integration, so in point-to-point integration, the step is get the data, transform the data, push the data. What here we will be doing is, we are doing the same steps, but instead of that, we are exposing this as an API. API in the sense web service. I'll be covering what are APIs, different types of APIs in the next session. So whenever we are exposing this as an API, this API can be consumed by these three systems in a single point. So let's say, what this API does is, so here in API implementation, what we'll be having is API. It will do get, transform, and send. So this API, let's say this is API 1 or API hospital data. So this API is being consumed by these three systems. So what are the advantages here? So whenever there is a change, so where is this data getting from? This data is getting from our diagnostic A database. So whenever there is a change in database or in any endpoint here, we no need to do anything in this target system. We only have to do in the single MuleSoft API. Where we have to do is we have to change some getting. So there is some change in getting the data, right? So here we need to do some modifications, and we'll just develop this one. What is the advantage here? Whenever there is a change in system A, we are developing at only one point. We are doing only change in one integration. So since this is exposed as an API, this target system will remain same. So it will only accept this API. So API means it will give some URL. So this URL is consumed by these three target systems. So there will be no change in the target systems at all. So they will simply accept our API. The only change which we are doing is in the code is only in the part of our source systems. So in this way, there will be like loose coupling. So there are advantages like loose coupling, and whenever suppose let's say there is another system coming. So there is coming like diagnostic B, and we have to do the same things. So whenever the new system comes, you have to develop only one integration here also. No need to build multiple integrations. In the before example, what we are doing, for each system, you are developing each integration, point-to-point integration. So let's say suppose there are 2 systems and 3 systems here. You'll be building 6 systems, 2 into 3. But instead here, what we are doing, we are building only 2 integrations. One is from diagnostics A to all of the targets, and one is from diagnostics B to all the hospitals. So this is the main advantages of Mule ESB API integrations. Any doubts up to now?
No, Aishwarya.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Aishwarya.
Okay. So this is the main thing here. So this ESB, so when I say ESB Enterprise Service Bus as explained yesterday, so what are the main features of Mule ESB? So here we have main important 3 features. One is allow to orchestrate a service. So what does this mean? A service here means let's say my database, there is a database. So here there is Oracle database or MySQL database. So how to connect this one? So we are using the connectors in the Mule. So in MuleSoft ESB provides us some connectors. So those connectors will be able to get the data from. So they will establish a connection. So suppose let's say, so in this example we have a diagnostic A, and it will store all of its data in Oracle database, Oracle DB. So we have to establish a connection with Oracle database in MuleSoft. So how to do this one? So if for this one, Mule ESB provides us some connectors. So it will give us some connectors where we can connect directly with Oracle database, or let's say Salesforce system or NetSuite system. So whatever the systems may be, there are many connectors which are provided by ESB. So this is called orchestration of service. So service in the sense here, the service are system, nothing but systems. So and also like so let's say there are some systems, some APIs which are exposed by some other third party. Let's say there is some so these are not standard APIs or something like that, right? So as a developers, we can also develop some APIs and we can expose some APIs. How to use them, how to utilize them. So for that also ESB provides us some connectors. So that is orchestration of a service. So Mule ESB will allow to orchestrate a service in our development. And next one is way to do transformation. Yesterday, as I mentioned, right? So whenever the system, we are getting some data from a system, source system, we are expected minimum some transformations to push the data into target system. So the main thing here is the target system accepts the data in another form and source system sends the data in another form. Let's say we have here JSON and here we have XML. So how to do the transformation? So what is the way to do the transformation? So let's say here instead of JSON we have CSV. So how to read the data from these source systems and transform into the single profile. So let's say we have 2 systems here. System we have explained here, right? Now let's say diagnostics A gives us the data in CSV format. Diagnostics B will give the data in JSON format. But hospital will consume only in XML format. So we have to take these 2 data and convert into single form of data. So that is done by transformation. So the transformation in MuleSoft is done by DataWeave. So that is the main important thing, and that will be asked by interviewers in most of the interviews. So it is very important thing in MuleSoft. So DataWeave. So this we can cover in later parts. So mostly in the next couple of classes we can see what is DataWeave, what are the functions we can do there, and what are the transformations we can do there, we can see there. And how to do enrichments. So enrichments in the sense, as yesterday someone asked me, so modifications of data. Let's say we are getting some this data. So let's say the patient name here has first name and last name. But in hospital, from diagnostics, it will accept both in a combined format. It will require full name. So how to concatenate first name and last name? And do you want to add anything like the date? So on which date the patient has been diagnosed with some disease? So you want to concatenate everything and give it as a name, or you want to concatenate the title. So let's say he is Mr. or Miss or Mrs. You want to concatenate based on the different fields. So the manipulation of data. So and based on conditions. Let's say if it is a male, you want to give Mr. first name and last name. If it is female and you are going to check whether the title Mr. or Miss or Mrs., you want to concatenate based on the title. So all the manipulations of data we can do in this transformation itself. And the filtering of data, like suppose this hospital requires only data of some patients which are diagnosed by some disease. It doesn't want all the data of all the patients. It requires only the patient's details which have some disease. So how to filter the data? So basically diagnostics will not do any filtration. It will just send, okay, for this date I have got 100 patients and we have done test for 100 patients. Out of 100 patients, only 50 patients got identified with this disease. So these 50 members, you have to send it to hospital. So how to do the filtration? Based on what you will do the filtration. So all the enrichments will be, we can do in ESB. ESB provides us the facilities to do the filters. So everything can be done in using. So these are all the features which MuleSoft provides us, what we can do, how we can do. So I will show that in couple of sessions, so we can start developing and we can do all the operations in MuleSoft. Any doubts up until here?
No, Aishwarya.
Okay. And coming to MuleSoft, so let's see like what are the, so basically MuleSoft provides us two platforms. One is cloud platform. So Anypoint platform, when I say here Anypoint platform, this is cloud, and MuleSoft Anypoint Studio. So what are the differences, when to use when, and for what we have to use both of them, we'll see. First, let's see MuleSoft Anypoint platform, cloud platform. So here, this is how the cloud platform looks. And this is the URL for cloud platform. I will give this in chat box. You can also go and register and maintain your account. Yes. Or simply home. Okay, when it will ask you like how to first you have to sign up here, and you can then you can log into your account. Can we have already? Yeah. So once you log in here, you will see all the things which we can do. So let's see here. So it will open like this. Here we have many things we have to explore. So first thing is design center. So before explaining design center, let's see what are the things we have to do in MuleSoft. So in software development life cycle, so basically SDLC, there are few things we have to do. The first one is requirement gathering. So we will be gathering some requirements. So these requirements we'll be getting it from our client itself. So whoever we are working for, he will give like we want to integrate these systems, we have to do these things. So that is the main thing, requirements gathering. The second thing which we will be the part of is design thing. So we have to design the entire thing. So entire thing here means in MuleSoft we have to design APIs. Next one is development. Next one is we have to deploy it and manage. So and then last we can support. So here after requirements gathering, we are doing a design session. So here what we are doing design means, so you'll have some idea like we have to do integration between system A and system B. So these are all the integrations, like multiple objects we have to get the details of patients, we have to get the data of how many diagnostic centers are there. So in all kinds of data we'll be getting, we have to do that. So how to design them, how many APIs we have to design. So do we have to design based on number of patients, or do we have to design based on diseases? So what are the requirements? Based on requirements, we can design. And based on that design, we have to develop the MuleSoft integration code. And once the development is done, we have to deploy. So all these things we can do here in this one, in our Anypoint platform, cloud platform. So here when it says design center, you can go and select the design center. So you can create new. So basically in design center, you can develop also. So you can, so when it says new API spec, it says, so the designing of API. So how you want to have your API? So in API, you, as I mentioned yesterday, so let's say in the REST APIs. So I will explain what are REST APIs and SOAP APIs in tomorrow's class. But so what are the specifications? Like you want to get the data, or you want to post the data, like you want to push the data. So what are the things you can do? So everything can be done here using new API specification spec. And when it says new fragment, you can develop, actually you can develop the code here. When I say develop, you can give source and target systems here, but it is not suggested to use design center for development in further cases, because it is very this new fragment development is only used for small and very simple integrations. So mostly 90% of our developers will be using the on-premise, the platform, Anypoint Studio only. I will explain this one in few minutes. So this is for development. This is for application. So import file. So if you have already created something and you have saved it in your laptop or system, you can import from here. So we can go in detail in further classes. And then exchange. So what is exchange is, if you have exposed an API and you want that API to be used by everyone. So for that, we can publish the APIs in this portal. So exchange is a portal actually for all our MuleSoft using people. So you can publish new assets. So whenever they say publish, you can whatever the APIs you have exposed, you can publish this one, and this APIs can be used by other users also based on your wish. So if you say you don't want to use you don't want your API to be used by everyone, you can keep authentication and like that. And if you want to use your API by everyone, you can keep it open and they can use your APIs. And there are predefined APIs here. Like if you search for, I think yeah, there are predefined connectors here. So in public portal, you can search all of the things, like what are the main public connectors we can use, public APIs we can use, something like that. And let's go to management center. So this is very important for us. So so after going to the two steps, the requirements is done, designing is done. So then we will come to development. So development, for mostly development, as I mentioned, we will be using the on-premise. When I say on-premise, in the laptop and Anypoint Studio, we will develop. So once we develop the code, we have to deploy the code. So for that, we cannot use our on-premise. It has to be on the cloud. So how to deploy it? So basically, in Runtime Manager, we can deploy all our codes. So you want to deploy your code, whatever the deployment is, development is done. So here you can come to Runtime Manager and you can choose the environment, like design session. So this is sandbox session. So there are two things we can go it in deep in while we deploy the things. So how to deploy application? So what are the ways of application deployment, and what are the options available after deploying? So all of the things can be done in Runtime Manager. So when we say runtime, it is like for deployment. For deployment of code, we use Runtime Manager. And once the deployment is done, so here we have gone through requirements is done, designing APIs is done, development is done, deploy is done. So we have to manage APIs. So when we say manage APIs, what are we going to do? We have to see like how many times the count of the APIs, how many times that API has been used. or you want to say you want to keep an authentication for that API, and you want to see logs like who are using that, how many times they are using it, how much time it has taken to execute, time taken. So you have to you need to understand what that API is doing. So for that you have to do managing API. So where we have to do that managing API, here we have API manager. So even if any API is deployed to runtime manager, we have to again come and deploy to API manager here, and we have to manage the API. So we have to see like we have to import it from Exchange or create a new API or import it from our file. So there are many options. We can go in detail in later sections. No need to worry about it now. This is just an overview. So how the cloud looks like. So just for information, manage API means we have to use API manager. Deployment means you can use runtime manager. Designing means you can use design center. And development, it can be done in design center and also in our on-premise. On-premise. When I say on-premise, it is AnyPoint Studio. And requirement gathering, this is somewhere we have to gather from client or our team lead or whoever it is. So they will give us requirements. In the starting stages, we will not be in the part of requirements. Mostly it will be the team leads and whoever they're directly interacting with the client. So once the requirements are clear, we will be the part of these sessions. So what are the design, how we have to do, how the design have to be done, development, the architecture, how do we have to build. We will be part of all these steps. And support, when I say support, this is a part of again software development lifecycle. So once that everything is done, we have to monitor like even like once the API is deployed, how it is handling, how it is being handled. If any error comes, let's say one is some compilation error or some execution error. So that error, is this expected or is it not expected? Let's say suppose we are getting some, so what is expected and what is unexpected error? Let's say there is some patient details from diagnostics, but there is no name. So if at all there is no name, how the hospital will know which patient's result is this one? So that is an expected error. So whenever there is no first name or no last name, it will say, our API will say, sorry, the data is invalid. So that is an expected error. So, but client doesn't understand this one. So client will say, some error has occurred in the API, please go and look into it. So as support people, what we have to do is we have to go and check, is it the data issue or is it any issue in MuleSoft development? We have to see. So when we have to convey that to client, if at all there is some unexpected issue, means the issue should not occur, but it has occurred. So we have to go and troubleshoot the code. So what is happening? We have to get the data and we have to check whether we have to debug the data. In what step it is failing. So all this one will be coming under support. So you can just ignore these three for as of now. So visualizer, monitoring. So these are after deployment of data. These are just portals to see how the APIs are being run. Let's say we have deployed 10 APIs, and out of these 10 APIs, how many are being used, and are they being up and running? So when I say up and running, it should be working. So what is the status? Suppose this API is not working for just 10 seconds. Maybe that is MuleSoft issue. We don't know. Maybe the MuleSoft cloud is down, the server is down. So what is the working time and what is the downtime? We have to see. So those all can be done, can be monitored in the monitoring and all these portals. So you can just ignore these three as of now. The main development for as a developer, we have to focus on these ones. And when it comes to access management, it is for mostly for the administrators, like so this account is being used by multiple persons. So let's say I have a company like apps, and this portal is used by multiple 4 to 5 people. So for out of 4 to 5 people, I will give permission only to one person to deploy. So those access management can be done here. So this is online cloud platform. Do you guys have any questions here? Any concerns?
Yeah, here when you say like a requirement, right? So after getting the requirement, we will start our design part. If when it may be the analysis and development. But before that, how we will get the requirement in which format? Do we get in the any specified format or email or mapping document? How we will get the requirement actually
Yes, yes.
after
So
discussion
basically,
with the
when we
business?
say in yes, so when we say requirements, it is a very high level term I have used. So requirements gathering will be done on the high level. So mostly team leads, they will be gathering the requirements. So it depends on each separate organization. Let's say there is some MNC. So in MNC, what they will do is team leads and on-site leads, they will gather the requirements from clients, and for the developers they will just give they will give some mapping documents. Let's say from DB to they want to send it to some file system or Salesforce. So how this is going to do, how what are these steps they have to do? So they will give you clear information like, so these are the things we need to integrate, and they will give you, so from database the data will be coming in this format. You have to use this connector, and Salesforce we have to give the format in this format, and the mapping document they will give you the mapping document. So in general, all the things will be handled on the higher level. The developers will be getting the requirements in a organized way. So they will be having some documents, they will be having some SharePoint links. So that will be taken by the organization only.
Okay. Usually, how we will get with mostly with the Excel sheet with mapping document and any high
Yeah, yeah.
level
Usually what happens?
explanation in the Word document, is it?
Yes, yes. First, they will have some technical design specification document. So in that
Okay.
document, everything will be documented. Like they will give some background information. Let's say we have yesterday I have mentioned it. So there is one client, Dunkin' Donuts. So what does it do? And what is the current system? And why we are using integration? And what are the things to be integrated? And how to integrate them? What URLs we have to use? What connectors we have to use in MuleSoft? All the things will be clearly explained in the technical design document, and from the document this sessions, design sessions. So in some companies, so in some MNCs, what they will do is they will design they will include the developers in this session, design APIs also, but mostly they'll be using them, so using developers here, but some cases developers will not be included. So that depends on each organization. So basically, designing APIs should be the key part in development's role as well.
Okay. So they will be going to suggest some a list of connectors what we are going to use in our development also, right? So is it possible
Yes,
like
yes.
okay, okay. Is it possible like we can suggest with our own connectors, or if the provided connectors are not useful for us in the development, like that we can suggest, right?
Yes, yes. Let's say
Manipulation.
suppose let's say there is some example like Oracle connectors. Okay, so for Oracle there will be many ways to connect to Oracle. Let's say for what client is suggesting is they are telling us to use one connector, but what you have observed in web and net, so you have observed that this connector, using this connector will slow down our process. Instead of that, you are suggesting one more API to use. Okay, so you can suggest this one, you can suggest this one, you can clearly say that using this connector the MuleSoft integration will slow down a bit, but using this API this will fast the process, and this will complete the process in few efficient ways. So whatever you observe, you can just suggest them. So so if you're working under some team lead or any leads or on-site lead, you can suggest them whatever you have observed with some proof, like in websites or some reviews, you must have seen something, and you must have developed, and you must have observed by yourself. So you can suggest them, and but we have to consider that the entire decision making will be on client side. So our team lead also will agree for our opinion, and he will be presenting that to client. So from client side there will be one technical person. That person will have some other view set of opinions. So both they have to come to one agreement, and they will tell us which connector to use, which API to use. So what is the approach to use, they will tell us.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Can you come again with the support once? Support thing, can you repeat?
Yeah, sure. So when I say support here, let's say there are all the APIs have been developed. Okay, all the APIs have been developed, deployed. So these APIs have been given to some client. So what we have to do, so whenever you are in a support team, you are expected to see that if at all any errors are coming. So let's say there are some. So whenever an API is run, we can have errors and we can have success scenarios like that. So when coming to errors, we have to see there are two types. One is expected errors and the other one is unexpected errors. So here unexpected. When I say expected errors, that is because of let's say data. So when what I have given example is our hospital expects the data in let's say first name and last name, but the diagnostics data. So while entering in the diagnostics, right? They might have not entered the person name itself. So how will the hospital know? So for what which person the report has come? So that is an expected error. So the hospital will, while consuming the API, they will get an error saying that, sorry, the person name is missing. So that is an expected error. So when this kinds of error happens, we have to, so client, so when I say client, right? So let's say our client is hospital. In that hospital, some whoever will be managing, he's a technical person and he doesn't understand what is the error. So whenever we say technical person, he's only good with MuleSoft and or he's only good with APIs and all. He doesn't understand what is happening inside that one. So he will come back to us saying that there is some error, please go and check. So what as a part of support team we have to do is we have to see first what is the error. And so in the error it will be clearly mentioned that this person name is not missing. Where is that error coming from? We have to go and check in the code. So in the code we'll somewhere it will be written like if at all the person name is empty or if at all the person name is null, you will get this error. We have written already, that code is written. So based on that you have to come to a conclusion that the person name field from diagnostics is coming empty. So because of that this error is coming and this error is expected error. So you have to give this response to the client. Okay. And let's say there is an unexpected error. So when it comes to unexpected error, so let's say the data is everything is correct. So there is person name, there is report, there is some age, there is gender, everything is there. But it says that there is some missing field. There is some mandatory field which is missing from the data. So you have to see whether the error is correct or not. So what you have to do there, you have to go into the code and see, we have to debug the code. So how to debug the code, I will explain in later parts. Like we have to see the flow. So our flow will be containing, as I mentioned yesterday, we have to get the data, transform the data. So while getting the data, are you getting the entire data? So then you have to analyze, you have to debug, you have to troubleshoot. While getting the data, you are getting the data. Okay, that's fine. Then where is the problem coming? Are you seeing the problem in transformation? So you have to see while transformation whether it is giving the correct expected data. Even after transformation, you are getting the correct data, but you are getting some error after transformation. So you have to troubleshoot the entire process and come to a conclusion that this is some issue in code or some issue in the data. If at all you see there is some problem in the code itself that is not being handled by earlier all in these steps, then you have to contact the client or your team lead and say there is some small problem in the code, you have to develop, so we have to correct the data. So you have to communicate the same thing to your team manager or project manager, everything. And so there is one more, there are many things going on in support, like they will create a ticket for that and you have to take the ticket and you have to solve this problem. And again you have to test it rigorously, unit testing and all. You have, if at all some organizations will have testing team, so they will test this code and all. So it will go through again the entire phase. So how you are going to develop, how then again you have to deploy the same change. So everything happens in support team. So basically as a developers, most of the people will be in this sessions, so in this phases of the project. If it also there is support team, so when we say development, these four are the core responsibilities of developing team. And when they said support team, this four will come only if in case of there is any errors, unexpected errors. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
One more query here. Like before we giving to the before we give to the go live or like a production, so we are going to do some tests, right? From development point of view, usually in every project we'll do unit testing, right? So here also
Yes.
we'll be doing that.
Yeah. So suppose let's say you have only one small integration A to B, okay, system A to B. So after development, you have to do the unit testing. You have to consider what may go wrong, what are the functional errors. Let's say the data is not good, or you have to so unit testing is mandatory for all the integrations, for all the developments. You have to do the unit testing and then you have to deploy.
So for this unit testing, any other tool we will be going to use, or because we won't be having UI, right? Or any how we will do this thing? Any new approach
Yeah.
we
So
will
when we say APIs, right? So let's say we are developing APIs. So this APIs, how we are going to test is we have to use some tools like Postman. So are you familiar with Postman?
yeah. Oh, so PA and Postman we know. Yeah.
Yes. So PO and Postman. So you can use Postman. So we are exposing APIs. So basically Postman for the rest of the team, I'm just giving an overview. So when we are exposing the APIs, we have to consume it. So instead of consuming it in any UI, so let's say this hospital has some website. So on clicking some button, this API will be triggered. But for unit testing, we don't require any UI or any button on the website or something. We can just directly simulate the testing in a tool called Postman, where we can give our API details and we can test the APIs. We can go through it in the later parts of the development. We have to do it anyway, like we have to do for multiple things. We have to do the Postman testing and all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah. Any other doubts?
No, Kitty.
Okay. So this is Anypoint Platform Cloud. Then coming to Anypoint Studio. So I will show you how to download that one. So yesterday I think I have shown. You can simply go and do this Anypoint Studio download. The first link it comes. So here, just try to download this one. Select the operating system which you want. So sometimes it will ask for our names like first name, last name, just email address. So give it randomly. It should be okay. It will not. It's like there is no validation for duplication or something. Just give your details and click on agree and download. It is actually 1.6 GB file. It will take some time. So once it gets downloads, right, you can see. So something it will be downloaded like this. So you have to extract it. So you can extract it in two ways. Like you can go and extract all. It will take some time. Instead of that, you can have 7-zip. So 7-zip is extractor. Okay. So you can install 7-zip and you can do an extract here to one folder. So it will have something like this. You will get all the files here. All you have to do is just download the file, download the zip file here, extract the file and copy this file to your main C folder. Here we have a C root folder, right? In the C folder, just copy it here. Once you copy it here, go and just click on this execution file. You have blue color Anypoint Studio, right? Go and click on this one. So whenever you click on this one, it will be open. So Anypoint Studio we can open here. It will be something like this. So you can try it on your own while for installing. If you see any problems, I will be there to help. So here I have created one project. So once you install Anypoint Studio, you will not see something like this. You will see some other screen. All you have to do is go to the file, click on new, click on Mule project. It will ask the project name. So just ignore the runtimes as of now. Ignore all these things. We'll go in detail. So how to create, how to import it, how to download. So we can go in detail, but I'm just giving you the overview how to create a project and all. So you can just simply give some name here and you can just create on finish. Once you create, you'll be getting. So I have given my first project. Once the project is created, you will see src main mule. Here you'll see the same project name here. So this will be our main page. This will be our main flow where we'll do all the development. Let's say if you want to use any listener logger. So when I say I've been saying the DataWeave transformation, right? So this is a transform message you will use. So when it just we have to go and drop it. Just drop it here. So how it will go, so what is the source here, how to do the development here, we can see in the next sessions, but this is just a overview. So this is how the Anypoint Studio looks. We have to create a project here, we have to develop this one, and we can just Control S, save it. And what is the configuration XML global elements, I will explain you in detail. And so here we have multiple options like import, export. So already developed project we can import, or if you want to export the so you want to export this project, so go here and right click. So you see many options here. Export this one, and now see. So let's say we are developing this. So this is my project. Let's say this is my project. So as I mentioned here in the sessions, we are doing development in on-premise Anypoint Studio. I have so this we are using on-premise because 90% of the people, so 90% of developers use on-premise because this is very developer friendly. So if you see, this is very standard and it is very helpful if we want to develop complex projects, like we have 5 to 6 source systems, 5 to 6 target systems, and many validations have to be done, many transformations have to be done. So for that we use ID. So this is Anypoint Studio platform, on-premise studio we can use. So once that code is developed here, how to deploy this code into our Anypoint Anypoint platform cloud. So that also we can do it from here. Here we have to go to the project. So how to deploy this one, Anypoint platform, deploy to Cloud Hub. So here are some options. We can go in detail in the next sections. So these are all the options. So how to run this code. So here we'll have one green button. So here run as, or you just want to right click here, you can do run project, you can do debug project. So how to do, we can see in the later parts. And here and on the right side you will be having a mule palette. So here when we say mule palette, we can use all of these components. So you have to use drag and drop, that's all. So after this, if you want to keep a choice, so when I was saying, right, we have to how to filter them. So all these things for filtration we use choice, like that. And if you want to remove this one, just click on this shape and do a delete button, that's all. And we have error handling part here. We'll go in depth like what is this one, how to do this one and all. And let's say suppose if you want to use some database connectors, on the right side you cannot see the database option here. So how to do this one, you have to go and click add module. And so when you click add module, you'll see all the available connectors here. So from here you can just drag this database and keep it in your palette. Okay, so now you can see database. And database, there are multiple options. We can select, update. So whatever you want to do, just if I want to do an insert, go and drop this insert here. That's all. And how you are going to configure this one. So you have to connect to the database, right? So how to do this one, I will explain in later parts. So this is basically how we do it. So adding modules, what are the modules you want here? So if you want Salesforce, you just drag and drop Salesforce into your palette. You'll see all the operations which we can do in Salesforce here, something like this. And so what are the, so how you will be running this code, and how so if there are any errors, you'll see here how to debug the code. So we can see in depth while we start code development, maybe in a couple of sessions. Yeah, any doubts until here?
No, Kitty.
Okay. So basically, you just have to understand that MuleSoft Mule Anypoint Studio is not very small component in your laptop. It will take some time to load. So basically, it is a big file, large file. It is 1.6 GB file. It will take some time to download, and while loading also you may see some problems, like it will not open this fastly. If you have laptop of configuration 8 GB, it should be fine, but a RAM configuration I'm talking about, if it is 8 plus, it should be very good. 8 should also work, 8 GB RAM. If it has some like 4 GB, you can develop everything, but it might be some slow. So MuleSoft Anypoint Studio will be slow.
Yeah, Kriti, is this a Mule 4 or Mule 3 software?
This is Mule 4.
Okay, that's the reason it's having already have
Yeah.
Mule 3 on my laptop.
Okay.
So can
Then
we
it should be
work
fine.
with that, or else do I need to download separately Mule 4?
So you have Mule 3 on your laptop. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Kriti.
audible.
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, so the question was he has already has Mule 3 on his laptop, so whether to install new Anypoint Studio or not. So for that question, the answer is yes. You have to install Anypoint Studio, the latest version for Mule 4, because Mule 4 is the updated version. It has advanced features like all the operations, all the connectors. So when I say connectors here, so these are the connectors which I was talking about. So all the connectors have the improved version of them. So in Mule 3 also they have the improved version, but nowadays everyone is going for Mule 4. So it is better to install Mule 4 and Anypoint Studio, the latest version itself.
Okay, Kriti, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the agenda for today, and if you have any doubts, you can go on.
Yeah, Kirti, you sent the link, right? So we can go there and sign up here, right? To get the cloud authentication, cloud user,
Yes. You
right?
can go and sign up for yourself. You can just have the details and you can explore what are all these things, design center. So what happens? So you can just explore what are the things here as I've told. And for downloading also, I think, should I send the link here? This is very simple.
Yeah, please. And one more thing, like when we go to the package explorer in the project you created, right? So
Yes.
package explorer. So these are all folders you're going to explain, right? Which is useful for what and all.
Yes. I'm going to explain. So basically, this is a just overview. Like we have to mainly consider this one as our flow. So this is main flow, or when I say flow, it said like classes in Java, so something like that. So from this flow, what we can create subflows, and we can call those subflows from this flow. So like that. And these are all the things which come automatically when we create a Mule project in Anypoint Studio. So basically, suppose if you want to use some properties like there are some static values. Let's say there is some static values you have to use. How we can use and how we can the static values we have to use something like property file. So we can keep that property file here. So we can go on while building our steps there. So as of now, it is okay. And these are all the things. So now we have observed, right? I have added the module here, Salesforce HTTP database. All those modules have been automatically come here. I did not do anything. So Mule Anypoint Studio itself, it will download the modules which we require. So we don't need to focus on all the things, all the folders here. The main two things to focus is SRC main Mule. Here is our development flows which we can have, and SRC main resources. Here we can have our properties files, API files, something like that. And all other folders, it's not for our significance. For developers, I mean, it will automatically come for building and running the process and integration. Okay. Yeah, I am done here for today. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can wrap it up.
No, Kriti.
Okay then. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.